Hi everyone, my name is Bia and welcome to my YouTube channel, Notes of Faith. I want to talk about weakness. I think that in the days of today, we live in a time of overconfidence, and it's all about faking it till you make it. It's all about posing. It's about showing only your best self. And I think that people seem confident on the outside and you convince yourself that you are, but really inside you're decaying. And we've been seeing really that in these times we also live in a moment where everyone is very vulnerable within, where many things get to us. We're all battling many mental problems, whether it's depression or anxiety. I think that it's really an epidemic of today that our mental health is not good in society. And part of that, I think, is there's just so much to focus on the outside. There is so much that we want to portray to others. We want to seem strong and confident and like we have it all together, like we're going to achieve our goals. You got this, you're the boss of your own life. And within you have this great weakness, and it's this sickly weakness. And you know, in the Bible it talks about weakness being a great thing in the right context. When you're weak in your flesh, that is when you can allow the Lord to really take charge of your life in the most wonderful, powerful, perfect way. It says, my strength is made perfect in your weakness. So this weakness that the Lord looks for is a vulnerability, a brokenness of heart that really makes you more able to be molded by Him. And this is the kind of weakness that He wants, a humility, when you are humble before Him and you just strip yourself of all of the layers, all of the pretend, and He will then encourage you, uplift you, give you that internal strength that you are lacking, that I'm lacking many times, that I need. The problem is that usually when we feel weak within ourselves, we faint within ourselves. We become discouraged, disheartened, to a point where it's hard for the Lord to do His work in us because we allow the enemy to take a place instead. So there is this verse, I think it's Galatians 6:9, if I'm not mistaken. In the Bible it says, do not grow weary in well-doing, for you shall reap in due season if you faint not. We all have times when we feel weary, we start to just grow tired and just feel drained of all of the circumstances and situation around us. And we start to grow weary in well-doing, where our progress just isn't what it was, and it can feel hard to carry on. It can feel hard to see the need to carry on. You just start to talk to yourself differently, where you're like, well, what's really the point? What do I really want to do? What's my purpose in doing this, in getting up and trying? And we all get tested, we all get tried, but it's so important that we do not faint within ourselves, that when you identify this moment of weakness and vulnerability, that you lean on God to help you to use this precious weakness to turn it into great spiritual strength. Because if you don't, that's when you faint within yourself. That's when really the circumstances start to crush you. And I think even in the Christian faith, so many of us will go through seasons where the trials of life can crush us sometimes, and we end up staying in a season for perhaps longer than the Lord has appointed because we have fainted within ourselves. We have become disheartened and we can't hear his voice anymore, and we start to listen to the voice of the enemy and to those voices of the flesh that are really going to get you down and make you impotent. I truly believe that, if we take this moment to go to the Lord, I know it can be so hard to pray when you feel really bad already. It can be so hard to take a stance spiritually, but it doesn't even have to be that great to begin with. It can just be, saying something out loud. And if you say something out loud, just know that your words and your faith have power, especially if you speak the word of God. And if you ask for God's help and you just say, Lord, help me, it can be as simple as that. And he can begin to give you more strength to pray more prayers for you to be more emboldened in the Spirit. I know that there have been situations, there have been instances where once I had this really terrible, I couldn't breathe. I was really congested in my lungs, and I felt like to breathe in, it hurt to suck in the air. And I was like this for hours, and there was a point where it got really bad, and I just said out loud, I said, God, help me. And instantly, it was like it released. So if you cry out to God in your moment of weakness, you cry out for help, even a simple phrase can really be used for him to show you that he's there. And once you start being able to say these small things, and you can say small prayers, say more and more prayers, because you will slowly start to see the clouds lift and to feel yourself maybe able to rise out of your situation. I think that we all need seasons of maturing in our faith, and our faith is tried again and again, and that is for a reason, because our faith is so precious. It's a precious gem that needs to be refined, because we will need to withstand tougher and tougher things in life. And if it's not tried, we will have a very weak breaking point. So going back to what I was saying about, if you faint too early, you might find yourself stuck in a season of weakness and of depression that the Lord has not appointed to you for that long. That he has not appointed to you for that long, because it says, you shall reap in due season if you faint not. If you faint, perhaps you will not reap in due season. Perhaps you'll have to wait for another season for you to come out of it. And that's not what he has for you. But at the end of the day, you're going to learn your lessons the hard way or the easy way. And the easy way is to rely on him. Do not feel discouraged if you have seen yourself become weak in well-doing, to grow weary in well-doing, because we all go through that. But the more that you mature in your faith, the less you will do that, and the more you will be able to be stronger on the inside and humble on the outside. So this is where great strength can come from. Even if it doesn't look like the strength of the world, this is the strength that you can access through the power of God.